Hello, everyone, and good day to you. I hope that you're doing awesome. This is, of course, Roger with Groovis Games Unlimited, and welcome back to our Solo Crusader playthrough. Still considering it Christmas because it was started then, but we have all of our Christmas stuff cleaned up, and I have to tell you guys, that's what I've been doing. It was such a huge cleanup with lights and decorations, so we had to get all that taken care of, but I'm back, and man, I have honestly been looking forward to hanging out with you guys for Churn 7. It is going to be some serious action in the dungeon. So I am so excited to be back with you, and I hope you've been looking forward to this. But again, I hope you're doing good in our first, week and a half of 2022. So I wish all of you the best. Okay, let's get into this. A couple things. I got kind of a little surprise for you, and I have to apologize because I was talking to my very, very awesome friend Mel about this, and then my new friend Chris. Hello, I know you're watching. You had some kind words, and thank you, Chris. You're a pleasure to talk to. They mentioned about minion combat, and please forgive me because I thought earlier we went over that, but then I went back and I don't think we did. Minion combat is, I think, a very cool part of the game. And it uses that final strike die, and so check it out. What we're going to do is I have a little demo set up over here in the corner with an Orc Siege Breaker and my favorite hero, Enwin Shadowleaf, our archer, and I just want to run through that very briefly for a few minutes. You probably got it from that demo. It's not hard, guys, but I just want to spend some time with you because, of course, I want to make sure you have all the information, and I think you'll enjoy this mini demo. But please check the comments below because I put from the rule set I created for it. You can read a little more in depth about the evolve. It's called evolved minions, but it's just minion combat as we're calling it now. But I think you'll enjoy seeing all the benefits this brings to the game. And just know that when you play the game, it's literally 10 to 15 seconds once you see how everything works. So we're going to be taking a look at that before getting into Churn 7. So I thought you'd enjoy that. And I'll tell you what, without further ado, let's head down into the Tomb of St. Viticus and check out our demo with combating minions. And here you go. You have a front row seat right in front of the combat. But this won't disrupt our game at all because we're just down here in this little section so I could demonstrate this. Okay, so let me explain, and please check the comment below where it says evolved minions so you could read more in depth about it, and you'll see what this brings to the game. There's a lot of benefits to this. So let's just talk about this real quick, is minions. Minions in the game are considered the trash mobs. They're worth no life force. They're usually never carrying any kind of loot. They don't have gold. They're the trash mobs. So while they are versed in 3 of the 6 warfare types, they're only proficient at using one at a time. Like you saw with champion monsters, they're high-level monsters. They're proficient at using all 3 in combat, like you've been seeing. And most certainly guardians, they use all 3. Where minions, they have, they're versed in all 3, but they only select one because they're trash mobs. They're not as strong as the other ones. Think of it that way. So they randomly select one of those. And before we go on, I just thought you'd like to see, this is an elite Orc Siege Breaker. And when I wrote all the special abilities for the minion, I tried to create unique ones for each of the minions, so you always experience something new. So our Orc Siege Breaker here, it has, the elite Orc Siege Breakers have Rampage. If the Orc Siege Breaker raids the village, it rolls 1d20. On a result of 16 to 20, raise the terror level by 1. You probably already know that when a minion converts into a raiding minion, they make their way out of the dungeon to raid the village. Well, this is telling us when this Orc Siege Breaker, if it does, you're going to automatically raise the terror level by 1 because it raided the village, but now there's a chance it could rampage. They're going to tear up the village even more. So that is, it will increase the terror track by 1. So I just thought you'd like to see that since we're talking about the Orc Siege Breaker. So, okay, explain that about them being the trash mobs of the game, versed in 3, but they only select 1. So it kind of adds another kind of AI or randomness to Dungeon Crusade where you'll never know, a hero will never know what it will select. Okay, so let me show you how this is. You already saw it, but I want to go just a little in depth for you so you have all the information. So let's say that it's Enwyn's turn. Here's our archer hero, my favorite hero, Enwyn Shadowleaf. My good friend Marcel wrote the backstory for her. Good friend in Germany. I hope you're doing good, Marcel. So I didn't get her hero card or anything. We're just going to be very quick with this. Let's say it was Enwyn's turn, and she's planning to attack our Orc Siegebreaker here. She has a base movement of 3, 2. Okay, so she goes to attack 1, 2, and just remember, you always put, I don't have one out, as soon as a hero comes into line of sight of a minion, put a raid token on their monster card. I just want to point it out. Always remember that. So, you know, we would, of course, put a raid token there. I should have pulled one out. Now she's going to move up to attack. Okay, so these two are about to battle it out. So what you do is, if we look at his monster card here, its monster card, it is versed, of course, in physical, chaos, and mythical. It's going to randomly select one. It's kind of like its AI of what it's going to pull out to use. And that's what I mean. It's always kind of like interesting to see what a minion's going to use in the upcoming battle. Quite simply, as you saw, you're going to get the 3 warfare tokens, give them a shuffle, and then just pick one at random. This goes as combat. When you know this, it's 10 to 15 seconds. But I'm just, of course, drawing it out. Okay, it's going to use mythical. Another thing you can do is, since Dungeon Crusade has a D3, you can simply just, you know, count down from 1, 2, and 3, roll a D3, and that's the warfare type. So either way will work. I like using the tokens. So our Orc Siegebreaker has decided to use mythical warfare for, you know, the attack. You get your mythical warfare dice. You always process the first thing you do is the warfare dice get processed first when you roll. And then, like I discussed in what you saw, this is known as the final strike die. It's a D20. And think of it like this. And you'll hear this in the video when you go check that out about evolved minions. The warfare roll is like the hero and monster, they go at it. You know, they're battling with whatever weapons they're using, okay? The final strike, that's kind of like, think of it like they're pulling away from each other, and each one's trying to get one more hit in on the other. And so when you process the final strike die, you just simply use the mythical. So if your hero is proficient in mythical, you know, if they have a shield or a cloak or something, you know, you can add this to the final strike die. And here's an important thing, because I'm creating new minions that are going to be some special abilities with final strike and heroes with final strike. This is a warfare roll. This is not a warfare roll. This is known as a final strike roll. Okay? So that's what I mean. You process the warfare dice first, and then, you know, that's them fighting. And then as they're kind of pulling away, they're each going to try to get a final strike on each other. That's the D20. See how that works? And remember to add any kind of buffs you have to that warfare type, add that to your final strike. And that's simply how it works. And of course, use whatever weapon you're declaring, that goes with final strike. So I just wanted to point that out to you, and I feel better I did that if I didn't explain that well enough. So let's get on with turn 7. Let's go over to our hero area, and let's go into Upkeep. Okay, and remember, I'm just show you again. Let's reinforce that 5 phases. We're going into Upkeep. And I hope you enjoyed that, you know, going over the minion combat. It's a very fun part of the game, and I'm just glad I explained that for you. And check out that comment and watch, you know, the full series on it. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, we're in Upkeep. What do? We test for torches. Remember, we roll the D12. No hero has a torch, although I think we'll get one so we could do that at some point. So no torches to test. Next up, do we have any special abilities that are channeled? Nope. Our only one right now is our magic missile. Zeke didn't use that, so we're good. We have no afflictions, as in bleeding or poison, right? We don't got to process that. Our quests are not complete, or we would be interacting with the teleport track, although that's coming up pretty soon in the next few turns, I think. So that leads us to our initiative tokens. And as you know, it's going to get pretty heavy and hot in the dungeon tonight. So let's go over to the dungeon and let me tell you what I think our plan's going to be for how it's going to go down. Okay, guys, let's talk about our strategy of what we're going to do for the hero phase. First, though, and I meant to do this before, remember our tracking tokens. So we're going to put these, one of them on my Heliax card and one on Nefarian, since Nefarian is tracking the Heliac. I won't move the camera, but I just wanted to let you know that. So I was looking at this all day thinking, well, should we have this combat first? Because this is going to be a big one. Or up there with Matari trying to hide in the chamber. And I thought we should save this for the grand finale, because this is going to be a huge battle, because we're going to have Zeke come down here and light him up with the magic missile, but my Heliac's going to attack first. So let's do this. Let's move the camera carefully. Let's discuss Matari first. Hopefully I don't knock anything down. And it actually worked pretty good. Okay. So what we're going to do is, of course, Matari is right here. And we got to get her out of there. And like we discussed, we're going to come out of the siege tile into northern quarters. We're going to go in this chamber with her first initiative token. And we're going to try to hide after we kill this champion monster. So she's going to be doing a lot this turn. So first initiative token. I'm going to put that on Matari's card. And we're going to run. She's going to run away. She's going to run over here. She's going to enter into this chamber here and try to defeat this champion monster, whatever it is. For her second initiative token, it's an action. She's going to try to hide then. So picture that she runs over here, kills the monster, and then looks for a place to hide to lose the tracking status for Red Widow. So she's going to activate second. I have been really looking forward to this turn. I love playing this game and hanging out with you guys, okay? So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to go back over here, and then let's discuss the grand finale. We are going to have Maheliak attack. So he's going to try to put some damage on Nefarian right off the bat. So Maheliak's going to have initiative token 3. I'm going to put that in the player area. And then, you know what? I think now we could have him attack again just in case he doesn't kill him. Because I was going to actually give this to Zeke. Zeke could come down and use Magic Missile. But we'll just do this. We're going to give initiative token 4 to Maheliak. So he is just going to womp on Nefarian his whole turn. So we're going to do that. And then, here was my thought. And I'd like to tell you this so you guys can think of maybe strategies. I was just going to give him initiative token 3. And hopefully he got him down to near death. Then initiative token 4 was going to go to Zeke, so he could have moved up and used Magic Missile on him. And then initiative token 5 to Maheliak, so we can get closer to Matari to help her out. So again, there's just so much you can do in this game. I hope you're kind of seeing all this unfold as we're playing. But as it is, we're just going to womp on Nefarian. That's my strategy. Then, just in case, we're going to give initiative token 5 to Zeke. Zeke's going to come down here, and he is going to blast Nefarian with Magic Missile, hopefully killing him. If Maheliak doesn't kill him, finally. If not, initiative token 6, of course, to Zeke, and he is going to run up, and it's going to be bad because he's not proficient in 2 of those warfare types. We're going to hope that Arcane comes up. This is going to be a lot in this turn, but I hope you liked me going over this so you can kind of see how the game works and think maybe some strategies you would have done. Or you know what? Put your comments down there. Let me know what you would have done in this turn. That'd actually be very interesting. I'd like to hear from you guys. Okay, on to the encounter phase is next. Okay, and we're at the encounter deck for our encounter phase, and we are going to be, well, first of all, let's take a look. Okay, this is an event, and let me point, again, I pointed this out, but I'm going to give you some information about events and randomly selecting a hero so you know. Remember this symbol, the yellow eye symbol. If a hero is being tracked by a guardian, they're ineligible for this event. If they're in any kind of combat, if they're adjacent to a monster, basically with the red circle and the crossed sword, they're ineligible. Okay, so you can see there's the art for this one, kind of cool. And let me get this here. Let's read this event. And I want to point this out to you first. Randomly select a hero. Now, judging from what I said, and I'm glad that this came up here, you know, both of our heroes, Matari and Maheliak, of course, they have something going on, so they're ineligible. So what you do is randomly select a hero. You basically use a D6. We're using 6 initiative tokens, right? That's locked to the D6. But what I want to point out is this. Say when you start playing regular Dungeon Crusade, where you're controlling 6 heroes, you're of course going to use a D6. But if you want to play with, say, 8 heroes, you use a D8. Say you just want to play with 4 heroes, you're going to use a D4. Do you see what I mean? So whatever, the amount of heroes you're playing with, you're going to use that die. Say you want to play with 5 heroes, you're going to use a D6, but if 6 would come up, re-roll. So that's how you can modify the game to play with less heroes or more heroes. But since we are using all 6 initiative tokens, we're of course going to use a D6. But there's really no sense in rolling because what I said, Zeke is going to be the one to do this. So simply like 1 came up. Well, Matari is involved with that guardian, so you would just re-roll. And so basically until 3 or 4 would come up, you know, Zeke is going to be the one to get it. I hope you see what I mean by that. So let's move on then, because Zeke is the one who's going to be doing this. So let's take a look at this. Randomly select a hero. This hero has discovered a legendary chamber where a great battle took place long ago. Roll 1d10 to see what this hero has found. 1 to 6, the hero finds old broken chests containing war treaties. 7 to 9, the hero finds gold. Roll 1d6 times 100 for the amount of gold found. 10, the hero finds a legendary item. Flip through the loot deck and take the first legendary item you find, then reshuffle the deck. So if you picture it, this, you know, Zeke has found this legendary chamber in this great battle, and there's probably this skeleton warrior with a sword through him, and you know, so he's found this well, possibly a chest. So let's get our D10 and we'll consult this for what Zeke found. Okay. But hopefully you understand what I explained about the randomly select the hero. We have our D10, we're just going to roll right here. So Zeke finds, I think that's a good one. So what's 7 to 9? Oh, so Zeke finds 100 gold. Roll 1d6 times 100 for the amount of gold found. Okay, we have our d6 right here. So Zeke has found 200. I wish it was more. And I'm going to get the 200 gold right now. And I want to point something out about, there's the 200 gold. I thought something you'd like to know. Initially, I wrote 120 encounters, you know, challenges and events and all of that. I loved writing these. So in the huge expansion, you can expect, I mean, at least 120 extra ones. There's already 87 here. So in this huge expansion that I've been putting together, I love writing these. And so expect there's going to be a ton more for you. Okay? So next, let's move on to the Guardian phase. There's not going to be very much in that one because our Guardians is spawned, but let's move it up to the Guardian track. And here we are in the Guardian phase. I have that just to reinforce that. So of course we came out of Encounter and went right into the Guardian phase. But what I wanted to point out is, remember that our quota was 2. Our 2 Guardians have spawned, so we're not going to be doing the Guardian phase. And my good friend William, I think you're watching this. William had asked something about the Guardians, about spawning Guardians. And that's, of course, set in the scenario. And it's whatever you want, guys. You could have 1 Guardian spawned per quest table, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or go off the chart and even try 7 or 8. That would be super challenging. So I just wanted to point that out. Our quota was 2. There's 2 Guardians in the dungeon. So really, you can just skip the Guardian phase and move right on to the hero phase. Speaking of that, let's head over to Matari and see what's going to happen. Okay, guys, this is one of the big ones right here. Here's Matari, of course, and we're going to run her into Northern Quarters and into this chamber with a level 1 champion monster. First, though, that she has 4 health remaining, but remember, when she left the village, she did purchase a healing potion from the bazaar. We're definitely she's going to consume that. It's a free action before she gets going. That's going to restore 6 health. Remember, once a hero consumes a potion, put it by the side of the village board. Celebration Day, it's refreshed. Think of it, the bazaar has created more potions. You stack them back up. So I'm going to place this next to the village board. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, so she's basically going back up to full health, which is very good. Okay, now, let's take a look right now. She has a base movement of 3, with the roll of a d6. We're going to hightail it out of there and get over to Northern Quarters. And we want big movement. Oh, that's great. 5. 5 and 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And her second action, she's going to do a movement attack, of course. And I'll tell you what, even if she doesn't get the movement, we're going to burn essence to get into that chamber. So roll. Okay, that's 2, and her base move of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfect. Remember, doors automatically open. She runs in there. She is confronted with a champion monster. She needs to kill it so she can attempt to hide from Red Widow. Yes, this is exciting. Let's get our level 1 champion deck. So you can see we're going to shuffle it right on camera. And we're going to see what is lurking. What's lurking within this chamber from Atari. I'm going to roll our dice so you know. I'm going to 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, guys, I got to stop the video. To be continued. Nah, I'm just kidding with you. I couldn't resist. I wouldn't do that to you. Okay, Matari runs in, and she is facing a... oh, it's an elite. Vampiric Assassin. Special ability, Fresh Blood. This isn't good. I always look right at the warfare types. Arcane, Mythical, and Spiritual. Let's take a look real quick. We're going to head over to the combat table, of course. And what is she? Well, proficient in Mythical. That's good. Middle of the road with Arcane. And Spiritual, a +1. So I don't know. She might do pretty good. So let's get going. Vampiric Assassin versus Matari. Meet you on the combat table. Okay, guys. We are in the chamber with Matari, with the Vampiric Assassin. Let's get this on. And you know what? As I was getting everything set up, you know what I thought of? Those dual monster chamber cards were in that deck. So that could have been very detrimental if we would have picked one of those. But let's go over the Vampiric Assassin. And for here on out, I'm just going to try to leave the card there, and then I'll just read you everything instead of going back and forth so we can get the combat rolling. As I said, Mythical Warfare, Arcane, Spiritual Warfare. Consulting what Matari has, we made her a powerhouse in Mythical, and she's pretty proficient with Spiritual. And what I did was, so we could refer to it, I just took this die. She has a +6 to Mythical, okay? And she has a +3 to, +2, a +2 to Spiritual. Show you this real quick. The pendant right here, the Myth of the Mind gives her a +1 to Spiritual, and there's +1 on her hero card. So we can just refer to that. So +2 for spiritual, +6 for mythical. And then her special ability, let's go over this. She's an elite. Remember, there's the gold star. Fresh blood. Once per combat round, if the vampiric assassin inflicts at least 1 damage successfully on a hero, immediately remove 1 damage token from her monster card. So she can kind of auto heal if she puts any damage on. So we need to take her out with the quickness. All right, so let's get into this here. So of course that's not going to activate now. So with chamber combat, monster would activate any kind of special ability. That won't activate now. Does our hero want to use any kind of special ability? Drink a potion? No. Phase 1 of combat. We have the warfare tokens. Let's give them a quick shuffle. And grab this one, set this aside. Phase 1 is going to be spiritual. Okay, and I'm just going to read on the card to you. That's a 9. So it's not too bad because remember, she has a +2 to spiritual warfare. So she runs up. Oh, of course, phase 1. Well, it's waiting for all the phases. She has her rusty dagger. Does 1 damage. So we're going to declare that for phase 1. She runs up and 5 and 2. That's 7. Oh, guys, I think we just made it. Because what? That's a 9. Yes. So 7 plus the 2 for spiritual warfare. She puts a damage on her. And you know what I forgot? I forgot the damage tokens again. Bear with me. If you're wondering, and I did an unboxing video. I'm going to try to get this down so you can see it. This is what I use to store all my tokens in. So I can just go right into this. This is like a 36 compartment one, I believe. But you can find these on Amazon and everything, and they're very handy. So this is kind of like my master one I use for all like the main tokens you're going to be pulling out for the game, and it works very, very well. Okay, and we have our damage tokens. I'm going to get a small cup and leave this out in the life force. Okay, so phase 1, we barely hit her, but we hit her. She has 1 damage. She goes back. I honestly think of like one of those old school RPG console games, like a JRPG, like when the character runs up and hits and moves back. Okay, so let's clear the spiritual warfare. And we're moving on to phase 2. We're doing good so far. Arcane. Now this is the one Matari might have trouble with. We have our arcane warfare dice. And of course we're going to declare the rusty dagger. Looking at her hero card right here, she's not proficient at all with arcane, so this is going to be just a straight roll. Looking at our vampiric assassin, warfare value, that's high. That's a 12. This is going to be a tough battle for her because of course she's not proficient. So she runs up, phase 2, and Atari is coming alive in the dungeon tonight. Look at that, a 10, 14. I'm glad this is getting caught on camera. She's just stabbing the living hell out of the vampiric assassin with that rusty dagger. Okay, we're doing good. Clear those, clear the warfare, moving on to phase 3. And you already know, mythical. And you know, she's our powerhouse in mythical. So that's what is that? That's we got this. It's an 11. 11, and remember we can add +6 to this roll. So this is Watari, you better not fail. Phase 3, declaring our rusty dagger again. She runs up with that rusty dagger and yep, no problem at all. 6 and a 2 is an 8. Of course, adding that 6 monster hit, and she has killed the vampiric assassin. 3 successive hits. How do you like that? And I'm glad it was caught on camera. So we'll put her card down. She's dead. Our friendly Minotaur card holder saying hello. Set him aside. Let's clear up our warfare dice. What a great battle. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this, because I hope you can tell I am really enjoying this. Let's take a look here. Let's consult our life force. 2. Of course, we're going to get 2 life force. I'm going to get that now since I have that right here. And, okay, got that. Now let's get our D20, because you know we have a loot and gold roll. And let's see what we're going to get here. See if she was carrying anything of value. See if she dropped anything. Okay, well, 17 plus, 7 plus, so Matari has a chance to get 100 gold, at least. That's a pretty good odds. So let's get the D20, do our loot and gold roll, and this vampiric assassin was not carrying anything of value with a 4. Okay, guys, that's it. This was an awesome battle. I hope you enjoyed it. But remember, now that her initiative token 1 is over, she has to try to hide within this chamber. Okay, so let's go back to the dungeon. We can do that there. And awesome battle. So hopefully her luck continues with hiding. Meet you back in the dungeon. And we are back in the chamber. We'll remove that champion monster token. Easily defeated. Goodbye, vampiric assassin. Okay, so initiative token 2. Remember, 2 actions. When you do a hide check, it's an action. So we're going to have 2 attempts to hide. Hopefully she could hide, and we will lose that tracking status. So we set this aside. We have our D20. Let's take a look at that hide attribute again on Matari. She's very good at hiding. That's a +3. So what, in the chamber? 15. So remember what I said before? I think I said something backwards. When you see a low number, like 13, 14, there's a lot of objects to hide behind. Something like 19 or 20, it's like a bare chamber. There's barely anywhere to hide. So there's a couple places to hide in there. So let's see if Matari can successfully hide. First action, 15. So we need like basically a 12. Oh my gosh. Look at this. She hides perfectly with a 19, 22. She is so well conceived. No, I'm not going to edit that out. Concealed. What an awesome churn. Conceived. It's late. Excuse me. We can say goodbye to that tracking status. And Red Widow, she's looking. Where did she go? Gone. Guys, this was an awesome churn. I hope you enjoyed that. You saw it on camera. We're going to get rid of this tracking status. So Matari is home free. It is going to be the rise of the heroes. You just watched. Okay, guys, let's head down to our grand finale and see what's going to happen.